wish I could say I'm sad, but I'm not really. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Mariah and I do reactions and reviews, and I do challenge chats where I talk about the most recent episode of the challenge, Double Agents on MTV. So real quick, before I get into this week's episode, I wanted to say a couple announcements. First things first, since we're talking about the challenge and physical competitions and fitness and things like that, make sure you check out my Instagram page. It's linked below, because in a few days, the day after Christmas, I'm going to be giving away a $50 gift card to Alani Nutrition, one of my favorite supplement companies. And I'm just doing the giveaway just because I thought, since I am almost at 1,000 followers, I just had my birthday and it's Christmas week, I figured why not do a giveaway. So make sure you check that out and enter when I announce the giveaway. And then also, I just wanted to note that I saw today on Twitter and on the Challenge Overdose Instagram page that Johnny Bananas, his mom was in a car accident. I think a drunk driver hit her or something like that. So send his family your thoughts and prayers, and I hope she recovers very quickly. Now let's get into this week's episode. As we get into this week, we kind of see the repercussions of last week. Kyle wants to talk about the game like right away. So he starts talking to Wes, Devin, kind of this like outsider group, and he says, okay, you saw me just get blindsided, so that's clearly going to happen again, and it could happen to any of you, so I need to get in an alliance is pretty much what he's doing. So good for Kyle. He's kind of starting to talk game now. And then something I thought was funny is that they did show a clip of like Big T and CT trying to navigate their new partnership. As you know, they just got partnered together last episode, and so that's like a huge difference in dynamic between the two. So Big T is kind of like, hey, you know what? I know I'm like a younger competitor and you've been around for a long time, but we need to get on the same page and you need to kind of get to know these younger players. You can't just seclude yourself. And CT's like, oh, all right, whatever. And so they come up with code names for themselves, which I thought was hilarious. So Big T is Hawk and CT is Fuzzy Bunny, just because he's sweet. I'm interested to see where they're going to go as partners. Now, what shocked me like almost right away is that Fessy's coming clean. I think this was like 5 or 10 minutes into the episode. Fessy walks into the room with Michi, Devin, Wes, Kyle, and Nam, and it's pretty much like, okay, Kyle, like, do you want to know why I voted you in? And then he spills the tea. Like, he tells them, he's like, this is what happens when you get the power. Anissa and I saw how you voted. And I'm thinking, like, I thought they wanted to hold on to this information a little while longer. I mean, how long could you really keep it a secret? I guess it was going to get out eventually. I just didn't think it was going to get out this quick. So one thing I was shocked about is that it didn't show the conversation between like Anissa and Fessy. Like, did they agree on this decision? Did Fessy just go rogue and just want to like come clean? Was Anissa mad that he was spilling the details to everyone? Fessy came clean. Now the whole house knows. The house knows it's not a secret vote anymore. And at the same time, people are starting to get upset. So like Corey, for instance, he's thinking, him and Fessy, they're in an alliance, and he's like, well, why wouldn't you tell me that information? We're supposed to be tight in an alliance. Why didn't you tell that to me? Because now Wes is pretty ticked at Corey, because now Wes knows that Corey voted him in the previous week. So I guess now that the secret's out, people might change how they vote. So the mission for this week was called Roadkill. Something new. They aren't getting hooked up in this challenge. So basically what they're doing is they're on this truck. They're on these trucks moving quick. 2 teams are up there at a time, and what you have to do is you have to knock off the other team the fastest, and pretty much by knock off they mean whoever's the last person standing. So even if you have a toe touching, you're still considered on the platform. So you want to knock the other person completely off before you get knocked off. So it will be like the 2 girls paired together, the 2 guys paired together, and then at the start everyone starts wrestling and trying to push each other off. Your time stops once you get the other person off, and then you have to kind of wait for your partner and see what their time is. However, you might time out, or you might not win if your partner wins. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm wondering in the beginning, like, okay, so say partner A wins and then partner B loses, and then I'm wondering how that's gonna play out in the end. So here are the matchups. I'm going to put them on the screen right now and kind of show you who went against who. So we have Cam and Kyle versus Nicole and Devin. Pretty good matchup to start. So good that they actually both timed out. So no winners, pretty much a draw. Pretty much a draw. However, the reason why they timed out is because Nicole hurt herself. She got injured. So this was the first matchup. Nicole is in pain. She's claiming her shoulder hurts. And once the camera shows her, I'll insert a photo, you can see something's not right. I mean, you can pretty much see something is not in place where it should be. Nicole needs to get out of there and get checked out right away, but both teams time out. Now real quickly, I want to point out, I saw this earlier today on Instagram also on Challenge Overdose, and I was wondering why this was even like being brought up. So Lolo had commented somewhere and pretty much was saying it was an unfair matchup between Cam and Nicole, and I will insert that screenshot here. So pretty much Nicole and Lolo were agreeing and saying, yeah, not that wasn't a fair matchup. Like, give me someone my size. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, so tonight when I watch the episode, Nicole is going to go up against Cam in this challenge, and Nicole's going to lose, and now she's mad about it. But now it's all making a little bit more sense. So Nicole gets injured during this matchup. But I think this could have happened no matter who she was going against. I mean, this is a physical challenge. You're not in a harness, so you just really want to like push that other person off so you don't fall off. Of course you're falling into a net, but you know, you still kind of have that fear a little bit. You just don't want to fall off. And this is the challenge, you know what I mean? Like Lolo says in her comment that, well, when you fight, you get paired up with someone your same weight. I'm like, okay, but in the challenge, most of these pairings are random. Who you're gonna run the final with is random. You don't just get to pick someone your own size, you know? That's kind of part of the thrill of the challenge. You have to train for everything. Endurance, strength, you know, you have to just train. So I don't really think it's fair for her to say that this was not a fair matchup, because that's what you get when you come on the challenge, you know? It's just like luck of the draw. Okay, so next up we have Nani and Josh versus Wes and Natalie. Again, both kind of holding their own, but then Josh and Wes pretty much are going down at the same time. Looks like it could go either way. In the end, Wes was the person that held on the longest, simply because he just held on. Josh kind of just pushed him off. Wes was able to keep his foot on just a little bit longer. And then Natalie and Nani were a really good matchup too. Nani was holding her own against Natalie, but Wes and Natalie both ended up winning. So now for the rest of the matchups, they were pretty much hit or miss, you know, nothing too intense. So I'm just gonna quickly kind of put those people on the screen and tell you who won. We had Darrell and Amber versus Gabby and Leo, and Gabby won that one, but then Darrell and Leroy both timed out. So it was a pretty good matchup. Then we had Nam and Lolo versus Teresa and Jay, and the winners were Nam and Lolo. We have Tori and Corey versus Michi and Liv. And Michi won the guys round, and Michi pretty much knocked Corey off like really quick. Like, I was kind of shocked because Corey's pretty good. And then with Liv, she actually hurt herself too. So Tori was able to win, but when Liv had come off, she was like, oh, my arm, I need to get that checked out. And now her fate hasn't been revealed yet, because she did get an x-ray done, but they were still waiting to get the results read. And so we don't know the status of her yet, but she was injured too. So I'm thinking that's 2 injuries already, and we're only halfway through the teams. We have Amber M and Nelson versus Leroy and Casey, and the winners were Leroy and Casey. Then we had Anissa and Fessy versus CT and Big T, and I was super excited for this matchup because, I mean, Fessy, CT, they're like both huge beasts. Super excited, and in the end they timed out. So again, just too close of a call and too big of a matchup. We don't know who would have won if they had more time, but they timed out. But for the girls, Anissa won. When it comes down to it, TJ said, so even though you guys competed technically during the same time as your teammate, we were taking the times by the individual partner, but 3 teams completed it as a whole. So we're only gonna look at those 3 teams that had 2 partners win. And those were Nam and Lolo, Natalie and Wes, and Leroy and Casey. But in the end, Leroy and Casey were the winners, and I'm super happy because I like both of them. It's been a while since I think Leroy's been in a place of power, so I'm like, cool, this is gonna be an interesting week. So when everyone gets back to the house, Nicole's stuff is gone, so I'm like, dang, like, she's screwed. It must have been bad, something that needs time to heal. She can't compete. She's medically declared that she can't compete, and she is gone. Wish I could say I'm sad, but I'm not really. I mean, it sucks to leave over something like that, not actually getting eliminated, because I know for a fact right now I actually have a knee injury, so I haven't been able to work out my lower body in like 2 months now. So I mean, I feel the pain. I feel her pain, but I'm just saying, as a person, she's not my favorite. So some drama. CT and Casey are arguing over some damn pizza. I don't know. Casey's using the stove to make a microwavable pizza. CT wanted to make some eggs. They're getting into it. I mean, you're stuck in this house with a bunch of people. It's not surprising you get mad at each other, but it was really nothing. It seemed like they squashed it. It was just a little bickering session, whatever. But then there's Josh. If you've seen my other videos, you know how I feel about Josh. I don't dislike him, but I mean, he's not able to really control his emotions. And I don't mean that in a place where I'm like, oh, guys need to be tough. I just mean like, he doesn't know when is not the right time to like be getting in someone's face. That's what I mean. Like, he goes and approaches CT separately after the fact and like, hey, what was going on with you and Casey? And he's like, dude, it was between me and Casey. And Josh is like, well, she's in there crying. And CT's like, oh, shoot, like, I didn't mean to make her cry. Let me go talk to her. So he goes in there and he's like, Casey, are you all right? And she's like, we're all good. He's like, oh, well, Josh said you were in here crying. And Josh goes, no, I didn't say that. I said she was upset. And then CT's like, yeah, you did. You said she was crying. And Josh was like, no, I didn't. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're really getting into it over this. And then Josh is lying, and I'm like, stupid. Just stupid. So now while they're all getting into it, then Devin just decides to chime in and be his little jokester self, and it's like, big brother sucks, just to like add flame to the fire. Because if you've seen previous seasons, that's what Devin does. I even said in my past videos, I don't really like Devin. Like, at the moment I'm watching this unfold, I actually kind of laughed a little bit. If I have to pick Josh or Devin, I'm picking Devin now. So I'm like, it's kind of funny. Josh doesn't like that though. No. So now Josh and Devin are getting into it. But Devin's like, man, I don't have a partner. Nicole's gone. Like, am I even going to be able to stay here? What do I have to lose? And when you think about it, the last episode was a guy's elimination. So in my head, I'm thinking this is supposed to be a girl's elimination week. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But Josh and Devin are just going at it verbally. And by them, I really mean Josh. Josh is pretty much one that's yelling. Devin's just kind of like, whatever, like, big brother sucks. What's 9 times 8? Like, just basically calling Josh stupid, and just, he knows how to push his button. So whatever. It comes time to do the deliberation, and what do you know? Devin just decides to call out Corey and Tori. And I think this is just because, like I said, Devin doesn't really have anything to lose at this point, in his opinion. He's like, I don't know what my status is in this game, so I'm going to be the person to take the heat. I'm going to call them out because they're a little mastermind in the group, like their bunkmates, and they're like Wes, Devin, and all them. They are kind of thinking like, let's target Corey and Tori, mostly because Corey voted for Wes the week before. So Devin's like, I'll say it. I'll throw their name out there. And Tori's like, what the heck? And so they throw it right back, and Corey's like, all right, I'm voting for Devin. And so Wes kind of tries to justify and explain the reasonings why, saying like, well, you know, Corey had lied to me, blindsided me, so don't fall for the things that people say in this game. So this is why I'm gonna vote this way. And then of course people have to chime in and just start arguing again. And I'm wondering what the rookies are gonna think. So people are kind of saying like Josh, he's like, I don't think that rookies should be influenced to vote a certain way. Kind of hinting that Wes and Devin are trying to manipulate them. But in my opinion, if I'm thinking of Devin versus Corey and Tori, not knowing if it's gonna be a guys or girls elimination for sure, I would vote on Corey and Tori if I'm a rookie. Like, Tori is great, Corey is great. So if one of them can get out of the game, I would think that would be beneficial for a rookie instead of someone like Devin. And I don't mean that against Devin in any way, but if I'm a rookie, I would think, let's vote Corey and Tori. So in the end, the compromise agents are Devin and Nicole, even though Nicole's technically gone. So they're not gonna find this out till they arrive at the crater, the elimination. So while they're there, Casey and Leroy are up there, and it comes time for TJ to announce the compromised agents, Devin, Nicole. Obviously, Nicole is gone, so TJ says it's a guys elimination week. Devin, you're competing. Now, Casey and Leroy both have to pick someone. They vote individually, but you know, partners are usually gonna vote together. And Leroy's kind of talking and thinking like, you know, I wanna go down there and earn my gold skull, but I gotta play a smart game. And I can just think, I'm like, here it comes. He's gonna say Wes, he's gonna say Wes. And Cam's like, I know Leroy wants to go in, but I had to convince him it's just not the right time. And I'm thinking like, come on guys, like I'm rooting for Leroy and Cam, but is it really the smartest to throw Wes in right now? Because I can see that's what's coming. So what do you know? Wes and Natalie, that's who they pick. It's getting old, it's getting old. I mean, yeah, Wes is good, but it's almost like, I don't know, is he the best there though? Let me know your opinion. Out of everyone there, do you think Wes really is the biggest target? Like, is he the biggest threat in the game right now? Was it smart that they voted him in? And then TJ kind of asked how Wes is feeling about it, and Wes is like, well, TJ, to be honest, like I've known Leroy for 15 years and I've never done anything to him, so I'm kind of shocked. And that now at this point I'm starting to feel bad for Wes. I mean, I kind of feel bad anyway just because I like Wes, but I like Leroy too, so I understand it's a game. You know, you have to make the right decisions for you. But I'm just like, Wes kind of has a point. Like, I don't think Wes has ever said Leroy's name. Has he? Like, they've never been, like, actually enemies. I mean, I know Leroy and Bananas have been pretty close, but I don't think Wes has technically ever, like, targeted Leroy hardcore. So when it comes time for the elimination challenge, both Wes and Devin, who are friends by the way, have to be tethered to each other. They're going to run and zigzag around these posts and then try to hit a buzzer before the other person to pretty much detonate their station. We've seen it in some past seasons where they'll usually like run around like a big like barrel in the middle and then have to do like the same thing, try to hit something at the end. But this time they zigzag through posts and then have to get to the end. And so Wes is already just not in the best headspace because he's going against his good friend and blindsided again. When it comes to Wes, I feel like if someone just said like, sorry dude, like we're voting you in, I think he would be okay with it. But then again, that's kind of part of the game. Like you don't want to tell someone ahead of time because you want them blindsided so they're not ready, because if you want them gone, you don't want them to be ready. I'm thinking in my head, okay, Wes has got this. He has a good strategy. He's digging himself into the ground, kind of like digging his feet down so that he can just like sit in the sand. So eventually if Devin starts to slip backwards, then Devin's just gonna keep sliding and Wes is solid. However, you can tell Devin just kind of wants it more. He's starting to inch ahead a little bit. We've seen this game before and it's the same kind of thing. Once someone gets just that slight edge, they almost always have it in the bag because it's just the way that the weight's distributed. You just have a little bit of give. You just gotta keep going just a little bit more and you have it. So the monologue that was like playing over like Wes's interview was just like making me sad. He was just like, you know, I'm looking over at Devin and I can see it. He wants it more. And, you know, this would do so much for him. It would change his life. And I'm like, this sucks. I'm going against my friend. And then I'm thinking in my head, like, is he going to quit on purpose? Like, is he going to give it to Devin? Or is he just like saying he's just like not in the right headspace? So in the end, I see Devin inching closer and he hits it. Wes lost. Just sucks. I think the game is just so much more interesting when Wes is in it. Same with Johnny Bananas. Like, even if you don't like him, you have to admit it's better TV when he's there. So anyway, Devin has to pick a new partner now because he won. So he can pick Natalie. which is Wes's old partner, or he can steal anyone else's partner other than Leroy's partner, since they're the double agents this week. So I'm thinking, yeah, take Natalie. I mean, she's strong, she's Survivor winner, like, why not? And Devin starts talking. He's like, you know what? I think revenge would be pretty good right now. So he looks up at everyone, and I'm like, who's he gonna pick? Cam? Because I'm thinking, like, maybe since Leroy sent Wes in against him, he's gonna pick Cam, since Leroy and Cam date, just to, like, piss him off. So he picks Tori. And earlier in the episode, Tori had said something, how back on Are You the One Second Chances, Tori and Devin were pretty much rivals. And so I should have known that that was a precursor to what was going to happen tonight. So Devin picks Tori, which actually was probably the smarter decision. At first I was like, why not Natalie? Well, Natalie's a rookie. Devin already has a target on his back. So that already kind of makes them like a pretty big target, having a Survivor winner, a rookie, and someone that's already stirring the pot on a team together. So by picking Tori, you know, Tori is a veteran, she's really good. I think that makes a good pick. So let's talk about some memorable moments from this week's episode. We have Josh blowing up like a little annoying brat. Do you guys even like Josh? Let me know below. Let me know. We have Nicole's injury. I was shook. That looked disgusting. And she's gone. Then we have Liv's injury. I don't know what's going on yet, but just the fact that we had 2 injuries. Wes getting sent home. That's memorable because it's like 3rd episode and Wes is already gone. And then finally was Wes's speech at the end. So before he walks out of the arena or the crater, he like gives a speech. He turns to look at everyone and he's like, I want you guys to remember, I have won a challenge without ever having to lie to someone's face. And one day when you're old and you look back on the years that you won a challenge, you want to be able to look back and be proud of yourself and proud of the decisions you made to get there. And I'm like, dang, like, yeah, you go, Wes. You tell him. And then for Alliance updates, I'm just going to check my notes. I put, like I said in the beginning, Kyle just kind of wanting to work with those outsiders. Wes, CT, Devin. You know, I kind of already had Kyle down as a maybe with working with Wes this season, so not super shocking, but yeah. And then Big T mentioned that she was really close with Amber B, Gabby, and Liv. So other than that, that's all I have for this week's episode. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. I thought it was another spicy episode. So far, I'm really loving this season, and I'm excited to see what's to come. That's all for this challenge chat. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate it. Otherwise, I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next reaction, review, or challenge chat. And I will see you in my next video.